Good morning, ladies. So I wanted to come on and talk to you about how inflammation and chronic stress directly impacts your fertility. So if you are wanting to conceive, if you're having trouble with your fertility, stick around. You're going to want to hear this message. And I am Crystal Melanson. I am a certified nutrition and functional health practitioner and creator of the Preconception Plan, where I help women maximize and mend their fertility naturally to conceive and have healthy pregnancies. And the biggest message, what it really comes down to, is inflammation. And inflammation can be kind of a broad term, right? So what exactly does it mean? What are we talking about? Inflammation in your body can come from many different sources, and it can be a source of chronic stress, right? So inflammation can come from your diet, whether you're eating an incorrect diet, a poor diet, not getting nutrients that you need, having nutritional depletions, nutritional deficiencies. It can come from medications that you're taking. It can come from toxins from your environment, your liver being overburdened. And it can come from emotional stress. You might know a bit about emotional stress. So if you're going through the fertility journey, that can be another compounding factor to this. And other physical stress, so like muscle stress, working out too much, things like that. So there's lots of ways that you can have chronic stress in your body. And when we have this, the problem is that it can affect your adrenal response, your response with stress, right? Cortisol is your stress hormone. That comes from your adrenal glands. And it's something that we can really actually measure from functional labs. There's a way that we can measure it and see how you're responding and how it might be affecting your sex hormones. That's my baby here. So I'm sorry when I'm doing live videos. She is a part of them these days. But we can see kind of how you are responding to stress. But what happens is that it can affect you in many different ways. So how it can affect your body is when we have this chronic stress from all those different factors that I mentioned, it can decrease your insulin sensitivity, which directly impacts your blood sugar, right? So you can have wonky blood sugar, which is a huge stressor on your body. I know if you have PCOS, this can definitely be a huge concern with PCOS. And not being able to use glucose correctly, which is a sugar, right? Main sugar from foods. So your insulin sensitivity can be affected greatly when your cortisol is too high, too low from chronic stress, when it's not right for your body, right? If you aren't having a correct stress response. It can increase your fat accumulation, so you can start to pile up fat, especially in the waist area. This can further stress your body and create more toxins and more hormones. So more stress hormones can actually come from your fat cells. It can decrease your immune response. So secretory IgA is one of your main antibodies in your gut. And when you have chronic stress, chronic cortisol, it can really decrease that immune response, that you are more likely to get infections, and increase your allergic response. So more allergies throughout your system. If you're someone that really struggles with allergies, you likely could have a poor cortisol response. And all of those factors I just mentioned, but the cortisol in general, can directly impact your sex hormone production. So it can, decrease your ovarian response, not being able to ovulate. It can also affect your progesterone production. So being able to actually have, an embryo embed in your womb and have a healthy, start to be able to create that pregnancy. So all of your cortisol response to stress has a huge impact in your body's these physical abilities, these functions to be able to conceive, but also, one of the main messages I talk about is your body wanting to get pregnant. We have to come back to that. You know, if you're trying to force things and fight constantly, we aren't supporting your body's natural innate desire to get pregnant and support life. If your body is struggling so much with its own health or its own stressors, it's not going to want to take on a life, right? It doesn't feel like it can do that. So inflammation is huge. When we decrease inflammation by removing these stressors, then we can help support your body's desire to get pregnant, both from these physical systems and functions, and also, you know, just that innate response. So what can you do to support this? We remove as many of those stressors as possible and support your body, right? So diet, lifestyle changes, natural changes, and getting to some of the underlying factors that could be really affecting you personally, because your body is different from someone else's. What is affecting you is different from someone else, which is why the cookie cutter standard approach, conventional medicine approach, doesn't always work, right? Because we have to figure out what is affecting you specifically. And so what can we do? We can assess this. We can assess this through symptoms you're experiencing, you know, talking to a functional health practitioner to assess what you might be going through with symptoms, your story, as well as we can actually test through functional labs, which is extremely different from conventional labs. I have a whole video about this if you want to hear more about functional labs, but we can actually assess, you know, where some of those underlying causes of stress in your body are. And we can actually see, like I mentioned, your cortisol response and your sex hormones, really where they are at on an incredibly detailed level, more so than you would ever get from your fertility specialist even. And with this, we can come up with your personal roadmap, right? So we can actually have a roadmap from where your body is responding. How I use my fertility responsive diet is actually seeing how your body is responding, right? How your body is responding to foods, how your gut is responding. Your second brain is your gut, right? Which is huge on producing hormones. So we can create your personal roadmap through all of that, symptoms, functional labs, and your personal response, and really see how we can remove those stressors. So like I said, it's individual. We want to be personal, but some of the main ones that we start with, right? Number one, that diet. It's where can we decrease inflammation in your diet while giving you the foods and nutrients that are especially important for fertility and that you need to have in count for to do. Oh, I didn't know if that paused there. So what nutrients you need for fertility, for pregnancy. And some of the main ones for decreasing inflammation are gluten. So that is a huge one I see over and over again. So many women, so many people in general, I work with gut issues too, have an inflammatory response to gluten. It's been shown through research, whether you are super sensitive or not, everybody in the world has some degree of inflammatory response to gluten. So removing that can be huge. Same with dairy, with PCOS too, conditions like that, gluten and dairy are huge. And dairy, if you are consuming it, making sure it's top quality, right? Are you getting it from healthy animals if you do decide to have that? So that's one step that you can take to get you started to reduce inflammation in your diet. And then from there, you know, I do use the fertility responsive diet, you know, tools to see how your body is personally responding to food, right? So we can adjust that, your carb ratios, how many carbs, what type of carbs you should be eating, which is huge for blood sugar. A second step is toxins in your environment. So starting to decrease toxins, whether it's coming from food, eating organically, making sure that we aren't taking in a lot of pesticides, herbicides, glyphosate, things like that, that can really burden your liver, which helps, you know, metabolize hormones, which is really important. But also making sure that we change our skincare products. Are you using a lot of plastics like Tupperware? Those things can all affect your hormone production. that's been shown through research. So that's the second step that you can take. And a third one that you can do to assess is thinking about medication. So are you on medications? If you're someone in fertility treatments, you might be on medications. You should talk with your doctor or get the information. You can get it online, right? Seeing what medications you're on, how they are affecting nutrient levels in your body. Past ones that you have been. If you've been on the pill, birth control, IUDs, things like that, those could be impacting your nutrient levels still. Your B vitamins, folate, which is incredibly important for pregnancy, zinc, those can all be greatly impacted by birth control. And even if you stopped a year ago, you might still be suffering from some nutrient depletions because of your past use. So it's good to go through medications that you've used and see where you might be coming up short on nutrients. So those are some of the easy steps that you can take to start to get rid of inflammation in your body. So that's where it comes down to, right? Inflammation is from chronic stress. So chronic stressors, diet, nutrient depletions, medications, toxins, emotional stress, which support through all of this can greatly help with helping you feel empowered and taking control in your life. And the physical stress, all of those impact your stress response in your body, which is produced by your cortisol hormone, which then can do all of those different things I did, your insulin sensitivity, your blood sugar, your fat storage, your immune response, your allergy response, and your sex hormone production, your ovarian response. All of those things, they all can trickle down from chronic stress and inflammation. So what is causing that in your system? And then what we do, we can assess through functional lab testing, through symptoms that you're experiencing, talking through your history and your personal body response. And then from there, we create your personal roadmap. And there's tools and strategies we can use to make this really simple for you. But that's how we can really help your body want to get pregnant, help support your body so we aren't constantly fighting, but we're really supporting its desire to get pregnant. So if you have any questions on this or how to do this, please comment below. Please shoot me a direct message, and I hope to help you guys with some of these issues, talking more in depth with them soon. So let me know your questions and we'll go through them. All right, have a good day, guys.